GME community. Welcome to GME Admin Insights. Thank you for being here. I could not be here if you didn't have my back, if you were so supportive. This, I believe, is something that we need. Our own professional development. This is something that we don't have, which brings me to my why. So, as you may or may not know, I created the newsletter GME Admin Insights, and I did that because being in GME for over 18 years, I noticed that we normally just get in our role, get in our seats. Here's your office, here's your computer, now work. And that's what we do. So because of COVID, everyone's at home. And it's like, why do we do this? And why do we do this? And why do we do that? And how come this? And why this? So I really start breaking down different policies and procedures. Why do we do this? What about this rotation? How come? Like, why? When you really start questioning why things are how they are, then you come to know, it doesn't have to be that way. Hence comes the policy improvements. So that is why I started my newsletter. It was to break down the whys, break down the how comes. Why do we do certain things? Why do we do it this way? What is this? What is that? How can I develop myself? Like, are there professional development courses and skills and training for coordinators or anybody in the GME admin world? And when I looked at it, you have your basic conferences. You have the ACGME conference. Then you have your specialty conference. You have Omni, which is great. So there's things starting to come, but a lot of those things are annually. You may get something twice a year. What about all the in-between? What do we do in between that? Or we go to a conference and then we either forget something, you don't use it, you lose it, right? So I said, I think this is what the community needs, because we have a lot of program coordinators. We have a lot of new program coordinators that have come on the scene, and even the experienced ones. Sometimes you're so experienced and you do your day-to-day work and all of your duties that you miss out on some type of growth or some type of details that you needed, but you're too busy to seek it out, understand it, look into it, right? So that's why I was like, let me write this newsletter. I love policies and procedures. I love breaking things down. I'm so dedicated to the GME world that I like to make meaningful impacts, not just to my residents or my faculty or the C-suite, but for the medical students, anybody that I'm in contact with, my other coordinators. Like, how can I help you, right? When I know for myself, when I don't know something, I will stop, look it up, research it to figure out why do I need that? Or, what am I doing here? How can I build that? How can I make it better? I love policies and improvement. I do, which always brings me back to this, and especially in the GME community, because the GME community, we help everybody, but we can't help ourselves. How do we help ourselves? How do we come together, or how can we reach out to help the community? So I started thinking about ourselves. So, we help residents, we help medical students, we help doctors, we even sometimes help the C-suite team, but we need to help ourselves. Let me jump into how the podcast will work. So the breakdown of the podcast is I will have a weekly podcast, and the weekly podcast will coincide a little with the newsletter, because even though the newsletter may go out, I always get a lot of questions or emails or direct messages about the newsletter. So I figured, what a better way to put out the newsletter and then follow up with a podcast, but also more detailed information. So the newsletter will still be there. It'll still come out. And then the podcast will come out either because there were questions or to go more in detail about the newsletter, because there's just some things that you can write about it, but you need to speak it. You know, you just have to speak it to understand, why is this done? So I read it, but really, so sometimes you can't really get that deep understanding and information until you hear it. So we're going to do that. And also I'm going to do a monthly podcast as well. Now, the monthly podcast will be one-on-one with either a program coordinator, a director, a PD, APD, core faculty. So stay tuned for that. I'm really can't wait for the conversation with my CFO, because we always want to know about the money, the budget, and the COO. I'm wanting to reach out and get some good nuggets from the COO as well. That's the timeline, and that's how everything is going to run. And in between all of that, it will be just little 5 to 10 minute nuggets that I got a question about, or I was thinking about, or something that I ran across, and I'll put it out there. Then, even though right now this is on YouTube, I am getting it all on Apple and Spotify. So for those who just want to listen, you'll be able to still listen to the podcast, listen to the talks, listen to the engagement from the monthly episodes that we will have. So you have to stay tuned for that. The first segment that I will be putting out is about mentors and sponsorships. I know that was one of the biggest, there was several big newsletters that when I wrote them, there was questions about. One was being a leadership, one was policies, one was quiet quitting, and then one was the mentors and sponsors. So that will be published later today. And it goes into mentor, which a lot of people know what it is. But part 2 really dives into what a sponsor is. So stay tuned for that. I won't give any nuggets away. I won't give any of the information away. Just stay tuned for that. The only way that you can get it is if you subscribe, hit the notification button, so when it drops, you'll know. And then once everything is on Spotify and Apple, I'll let you know that too. Then I also want to talk about networking. Networking is key. I will swear on networking. If you don't network, if you don't know how to network, you need to start. Networking is key. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you will talk to, who you will either inspire or they will inspire you. So network with people just anywhere. Now, a lot of conferences will start to kick off. You will have your specialty conference. You will have ACGME conference coming up. Network. And the one thing I like to do when I know I'm going to conferences, I will grab extra business cards, as well as I have an electronic business card on my phone. So that way, even if you don't have but a business card, you always have your phone in your hand. So there's a lot of different electronic business cards out there. The one that I have, I'll put the link below, but you also have Dot, but that's like an actual card that you keep. But you want to keep something handy, so that way you can exchange information. If you have an Apple phone, now you can just clink your Apple phones together and your contact information goes to that person if they have the Apple phone. So have some type of a business card, whether it's hard copy or electronic, so that way you can give your card to someone when you meet them, so you can stay in contact. And then not only that, if you have those meaningful conversations and you end up giving your contact to that person, reach out to them. Follow with the email, even if it's a week later, reach out to them. You just never know who you will affect, who will affect you, what inside tips or even jobs that you may get from it. Networking is so underrated. It's a key nowadays. You know the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that is so true. Network, network, network. I've had so many great opportunities networking. The opportunities, the people you meet, the friends that you end up having, the mentors. It's a lot of different reasons why you need to network, and not just network, but also follow up with your network. Reach out to them. Even if it's monthly, every other month, you just never know what is waiting for you when you network. Also, I know there's a lot of people that, our community, that are quiet quitting. We all know what that is. Everybody's looking and searching for jobs. You never know what's on the other side. You know what you're dealing with, but you never know what's on the other side. There's a lot of people quiet quitting, but when you are quiet quitting, ask yourself why. Why am I looking for another job? Why do I want to quit? Why do I want to leave? What is making me want to leave? Write it down. Look at it. Address it. It may not be as bad as you thought if you address it. We can be in our own way, right? But this is another reason why you do need a mentor to bounce things off of and evaluate why you are quitting. Why do you want to leave? Why? Of course, everyone wants to leave to grow in their role, and that's fine. We want to grow in our role. We want leadership positions, especially if we've been in the same position for 10, 15 years. We want to grow. And if you don't want to grow, that's fine. Everybody's different. Everybody wants different things. But if you are the person who wants to grow, you want more leadership responsibilities, you want different scenery, different tasks, more important tasks, then hey, that's fine. But if you're quiet quitting, then what are you quitting for? Because I know with me, if I want another role, if I want to grow, I'm not going to quiet quit. This is what I want. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to put it out in existence so I can get that. But at one point in time, I was quiet quitting, and I did it quietly. And then things happened where I didn't leave, of course. But what I learned from that is you have to figure out why. What's your reason for quitting? Now, if you know you were in a toxic environment, that's a no-brainer. But write it down and figure out for each one. Why are you quitting? I'm quitting because of this. Well, why are you quitting? Well, I'm quitting because of this. And when you write it out and when you see it on paper, then you know how to move forward or not. Get that trusted mentor that can help guide you in the way you want to go. Get that second opinion. It's a second opinion also in how you want to move in your career. Other big things that I have coming is, because of the networking, I will be getting a co-host. So things will be changing ever so drastically, but it's all for the good. Like I said, I've created the podcast to dive into leadership. Let's talk about how do we get there. Let's talk about what's important to the GME community. That is what we need. What's important for us. We need to take time out for us. We need to ensure that we have what we need, which is building our community. And the only way we can do that is from each other, right? Stay tuned, more for that. But I truly believe that this is going to be, especially with my co-host, going to grow and develop much more. My idea is to bring, the GME community important and insightful and meaningful information that we need on a day-to-day basis. I'm the type of person that I don't want to wait a month if I need something now. And when you look and when you search for something that helps us, it's not there. It's not. Why not put it out there for the community? So that all goes back into the weekly and monthly things. There's so much information that we need. There's many resources for other people, but there's nothing for us. It has lagged behind so bad, especially with the department, the programs continue to put additional tasks and responsibilities on our plate. Some things we've never even done before, even in the 18 years that I've been in GME. Like I got to do this now. Like, that's not what I'm supposed to do, but you do it anyway. That's that E, and anything else asked of you, that's what that is. So, but we don't have the resources. So I tell you, this is what we need. We have been lost and not thought about for so long that we have to create it ourselves. So this right here, this is for us. This is for the GME community. This is for our health, our wellness, our professional development, our learning, our growing, our leadership skills. This is for the GME community and everything that we need. So I'm asking you, if you want to hear a topic, if you want to hear a discussion, if you want to talk about it, let me know. You can email me, you can DM me on LinkedIn. It will be discussed right here. Please, please, please let me know what you think. Drop comments below so I can see what you think. This is for you. This right here is for you. With that said, I want you to enjoy. Stay great. Yes. See you later.